Welcome students. In this session, we'll learn about the methods of educational psychology. Educational psychology is that branch of psychology in which the findings of psychology are applied in the field of education. It is the scientific study of human behavior in educational settings. The field of educational psychology relies on testing, measurement, assessment, evaluation, and training to enhance educational activities and learning processes. Educational psychology, as much as any other field of psychology, heavily relies on a balance between pure observation and quantitative methods in psychology. There are various methods that are employed in educational psychology to fulfill its aims. In this interactive session, our aim will be to know about various methods that we use in order to learn individual behavior, to classify these methods into different types, and to be familiar with each method along with its merits and demerits. Dear students, we'll be discussing these objectives in two interactive sessions. In this session, we'll be discussing subjective methods and some of the objective methods. In next interactive session, we'll cover up with all the objective methods. Methods of educational psychology. The first attempt to adopt a method of educational psychology began in the year 1879 by Wilhelm Wundt of Germany. In recent years, with the development of technology, researchers have started using new methods of collecting and analyzing data. There are several methods that are being used these days in psychology. These methods can be broadly classified into two categories: subjective methods and objective methods. These methods can be discussed one by one as: number one, subjective methods. According to the exponents of subjective method, social science can have pretensions to objective truths. Rather, it results from thinkers' subjective grouping facts that are significant to him from the standpoint of a specific moral ideal. By the term subjective, we mean relating to or determined by mind as a subject of experience. An individual's personal judgment about whether a specific outcome is likely to occur or not. Subjective probabilities contain no formal calculations and only reflect the subject's opinion and past experiences, which make the subjective result unreliable. Some of the subjective techniques are: number one, introspection method. Introspection is the oldest method of all, which was formerly used in philosophy and then in psychology to collect data about the conscious experiences of the subject. The word introspection has been derived from two Latin words: intro, meaning within, and spection, meaning looking. Woodworth calls introspection as self-observation, and Angel defined it as looking inwards. Introspection means to see within oneself or self-observation. It was Wilhelm Wundt who first used this method for the collection of psychological data. He used the rudimentary, untrained method of introspection. According to William James, quote, "Introspective observation is what we have to rely on first and foremost and always." The word introspection needs hardly to be defined. It means, of course, looking into our own minds and recording what we there discover. Everyone agrees that through this method one can discover one's own state of consciousness. According to Stout, in introspection, we are concerned with the nature of experience itself and with the laws of mental process. The observer in introspection is directed towards the answering of questions of theoretical importance for the advancement of our systematic knowledge of the laws and conditions of mental process. Unquote. Merits of introspection method. It is the most economical method and one which enables us to know about the mental state of an individual. Second, it gives information about one's own self, which is difficult by other methods. Demerits of introspection method. Number 1. The introspection method cannot be done by abnormal individuals and children. According to Kant, a famous scholar, quote, "It is not possible to accept conscious experience as the subject matter of psychology and then consider introspection as its proper method." Unquote. Number 2. Interview method. Interview is one of the chief means of collecting data about human behavior. The term interview means conversation with a purpose. This method helps to know the views and ideas of the person. Today, for psychological research, mainly interview method has become very popular. According to P.V. Young, quote, "The interview may be regarded as a systematic method by which one person enters more or less imaginatively into the inner life of another who is generally a comparative stranger to him." Unquote. In the words of Fred N. Kerlinger, quote, "It is a face-to-face interpersonal situation in which one person, the interviewer, asks the person being interviewed, the respondent, questions designed to obtain answers pertinent to the research problem." Unquote. Objectives of interview method. Number 1. The main objective of the interview method is to collect information about unknown facts of the subject's inner feelings. Number 2. To make sure that the interviewer and the subject know each other. Number 3. Interview method aims at providing an opportunity to the investigator to observe the subject very closely. Characteristics of interview. Number 1. It includes interaction between two or more persons, but interaction has a definite purpose behind. Number 2. There is face-to-face contact or primary relationship between the individuals. Number 3. Data collected is used for the study of social problem. Types of interview method. The different types of interview method are: Number 1. Clinical interview, meaning an interview through which attempt is made to know the cause of certain abnormality of an individual. Number 2. Selection interview, meaning an interview done with the object of selecting a person on the basis of certain traits and qualities. Number 3. Diagnostic interview, which is done when the object of the interview is to diagnose the causes of any social event or problem. Number 4. Research interview, that is an interview in which we try to find out the cause of any problem with comprehensive study for the purpose of research. Merits of interview method. Number 1. High participation of the subject or respondent. Even illiterates as well as children provide proper in-depth information. Number 2. It is often observed that during an interview, the subject may become emotional and get excited and may express freely his fears, anxieties and complexes. Demerits of interview method. Number 1. The investigator has to provide a number of stimuli to get information from the subject. Number 2. There can be difficulty in persuading the subject to be interviewed. Second type of methods is objective methods. The term objective means existing independent of mind or being observable and verifiable, especially through scientific methods. So the method that involves scientific tools and techniques for the collection of data are called objective methods. These methods are considered reliable and are preferred over subjective ones. These include: Number 1. Observation method. With the development of psychology as an objective science of behavior, the method of introspection was replaced by careful observation of human and animal behavior. Observation literally means looking outside oneself. The word observation has been derived from the Latin word observer, which means to keep open. According to John Dollar, quote, "The primary research instrument would seem to be observing human intelligence, trying to make sense out of human experience." Unquote. It is accepted by the psychologists that an individual's overt behavior is the result of his internal mental conditions. There are two basic types of observation. They are, number one, natural non-participant observation. In natural observation, the observer observes the specific behavior and characteristics of the subject in natural settings, and the subject are not aware of the fact that their behavior is being observed by someone. For example, the teacher can observe the behavior of his student in playground or in any other social gathering without making him conscious. Number two, participant observation. In case of participant observation, the observer becomes a part of that group which he wants to observe. Principles of observation method. There are certain principles that should be followed in the observation method. They are, number one, observation should be made not only of the individual's behavior but of the whole situation. Number two, proper planning of the observation process should be made. Number three, observer must select the appropriate number of subjects to be observed. Number four, the time limit of observation must also be fixed. Number five, as observation is a systematic process, the observer must have the proper skills, proper aptitude, and the ability to report accurately. Only then will the data be reliable. Merits of observation method. Number one, this method is quite suitable for children and abnormal person. Number two, it is applicable for all age groups and we can observe as many people as we like at the same time. Demerits of observation method. Number one, personal prejudice, or in other words, subjectivity on the part of observer can be a big drawback in this method. Number two, subjectivity of interpretation is another limitation of this method. Second method, experimental method. This method has been developed in psychology by the continuous efforts by psychologists to make objective and scientific study of human behavior. One of the major contributions of behaviorism is the development of experimental method to understand, control, and predict behavior. It is the most precise, planned, systematic observation. According to J.W. Best, quote, experimental research is the description and analysis of what will be or what will occur under the careful controlled conditions, unquote. In experiments, there is always the attempt to establish certain cause and effect relationship through careful planned and controlled observations of the subject's behavior. The experimental method has certain characteristics. They are, number one, in the experimental method, the conditions are always controlled. Number two, it essentially requires at least two persons, the experimenter and the subject. Number three, usually the experimental method is applied on the person in a random order. The experimental method uses a systematic procedure called experimental design. Experimental design provides important guidelines to the researcher to carry out his research systematically. The layout or the design of the experimental method is as, number one, selecting a research topic, number two, formulating hypotheses, number three, selecting an appropriate design. Number 4, collecting data. Number 5, analyzing and interpreting data. Number 6, discussion and conclusion. Experiments may be conducted in a laboratory or in classroom or anywhere else in the community. Experimentation involves comparison between behavior of a controlled group and that of an experimental group. Hypotheses have a rational base, or they emerged from a framework of theory or preliminary experimentation. In the experimental method, two different types of variables are used. Number 1, independent variable, that is variable whose effects are being studied, like intelligence. And B, dependent variables, that is variables on which the impact is being studied, like home, school environment, other social economic conditions. For example, incentives have a measurable impact on learning. So incentive becomes independent variable and learning becomes dependent variable. Merits of experimental method. Number 1, it makes psychology a scientific study. Number 2, a cause-effect relationship of individuals' behavior can be established. Demerits of experimental method. Number 1, it is arranged in a laboratory-like situation, making it costly and time-consuming. Number 2, the tools used in experiments may not be satisfactory, and therefore the obtained data may be unreliable. This was all about this interactive session. We'll be continuing with objective methods in our next interactive session, that is entitled Methods in Educational Psychology, Part 2. Thanks for being with us.